Hi guys. So this is a different channel, a different style of video, and I am going to just talk. I'm going to be getting ready because I am planning on going out and being a functional human being today. And so I thought that I would, put on a little bit of makeup or whatever. Not that I need it, but a lot's been going on. I've been kind of going through a couple of things. I've been basically in this pit of depression for the past month. This sort of happens all the time around this time of the year, the holidays and stuff. So it's not uncommon for me to be depressed around this time, but a lot has happened, and I'm not going to really get into the specifics of everything that's gone on, because personally, one of the things I've learned, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. One of the things that I've learned is that sometimes it's better to just keep some things to yourself. And interestingly enough, this is what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, like I said, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and I think the amount of people who have been watching me for that long, who are still currently watching me, very, 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 very small. Some of you guys 100% followed me. I know I can think of a couple of names right now off the top of my head. Matica, shout out to Matica. There's a couple of people who've been watching me for a very long time, so you remember what my YouTube presence used to be like, right? You remember exactly what it was. And for the past 5 years, I've changed. I've changed a lot. I've changed a lot because I became very worried about what other people thought, what other people would see when they looked me up. And I've had a series of situations that have made me slowly but surely become, more comfortable with just kind of accepting that things are the way they are, right? That's me summarizing a lot of stuff. Maybe one day I'll tell you guys all the full story. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've been through a lot of harassment, heartbreak. I was evicted because of participating in a BuzzFeed video. I've been through a lot of stuff when it comes to me being visible and me being open and this and that. And to be honest with you, while there have been negative things that have come from it, it's been overwhelmingly positive. And that's why I continue to sort of stay on YouTube, right? But like I said, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, right? And one of the things that's so different about YouTube now versus then is that, YouTube for the longest time, was a website where people just came to talk, it was like MySpace, but with videos, right? It was just every other social media page. It really didn't have, the attitude it does now. And my YouTube channel was just me doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Turning on my camera, sitting down and talking, right? It was no drama, no scripting, just me coming on and talking. And when you do that, let me tell you, when you do that, girl, you end up just being messy, messy, messy. I mean, there were so many times, y'all, when I made videos half naked, talking about how I just got laid and this and that. I had a very raw channel. Do you know what I mean? And I miss that. I miss that so much, but more so than anything, I miss the attitude that I used to have, because when you were just making videos to make videos and you were trying to just connect with, your followers and things like that, it was not, when things start getting demonetized and things, it's not the end of the fucking world. We weren't monetized at all. It was all about the community that we were building up. And because I had the type of channel I had, it was all about my personal growth. And one of the biggest realizations I've had in the past couple of months is that I have so much growth to still have, right? And to give context for that, and people who followed me for a while will attest, I spent a really long time just trying to fucking survive. You know, I spent a really long time just trying to survive. To give you context for, you know, the type of community that I used to have, there were times where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to eat, right? So make sure we're recording. There were times where I thought, you know, that I wasn't going to be able to feed myself, right? And my followers would send me some money so that I could. There was a time where I came onto my YouTube channel and I was in the midst of, you know, a hormone-induced depression. And I was feeling very suicidal. And I came onto YouTube and basically talked about how I was going to kill myself. And someone called up my school and made sure that I was okay. You know, and so I feel very connected to YouTube, and I feel very connected to the type of community that I've had on YouTube. But I feel like I've gotten so far away from that because YouTube is such a business for me. You know what I mean? Because it's a job, it's work, you know, it's no longer the place where I come to cathartically discuss my life. It's no longer the place I come to sort of just give you what's on my mind or what I've gone through or the scary experience I just survived. It's work, right? And so I've really had to sort of, I don't know, like I really had to get to a point where, you know, I had a bit of a break and I had some conversations with myself because, like I said, my YouTube channel was about me trying to survive. And in the past couple of years, y'all, my life has changed drastically. Without getting too deep into everything, there was a time where spending $20 was like spending $200. I was so broke and my money was so thin that the little money that I spent on myself felt like a lot of money. You know, I didn't buy, I'm still pretty cheap. That's just always going to be me. But I used to buy, you know, those African exports, mimic perfumes. I'm sure you can find a ton of videos on there. They're kind of a big thing in the mid-2000s, but I'm sure there still are. Because I couldn't justify buying myself like a good perfume. Now, I know that sounds kind of silly to some people, but for me, that was kind of like an important thing to have, you know, like a perfume that made me smell good, you know. And I remember that the fragrance that I bought, it was Juicy Couture because that was what every girl wore. And recently, I actually purchased an actual thing of Juicy Couture, mostly for nostalgia. I also love the way it smells, but mostly for nostalgia because I couldn't justify, hey, I need to invest in like this nice thing for myself. I don't know if this is a good example, but it was really hard for me to even feel like I deserved that because I was just so broke. I couldn't justify it. It felt frivolous, you know. And so for me, getting to the point where I am now, where I'm very financially steady, has really changed a lot of my perspective. Now, initially, when that started being the way that things were for me, I kind of had this attitude of like, well, girl, I'm good now. Child, I am blessed and highly favored, and so, you know, I really don't have anywhere more to go. You know, like, I'm just all that in a bag of chips. You know, I'm fine. You know, everything's good. And for a while, I really, not that I felt like my growth was done, but I became perhaps more content with where I was than I really should have been. And again, because I don't really want to get into too much detail about shit that's going on in my life right now, but I kind of realized that I lost a lot of myself in the past couple of years. You know, I lost so much of myself because, you know, I was trying to sort of maintain a certain image, right? And that was an image that came from a lot of stuff. You know, like when you're a trans person, you become very aware that you have all of these negative views that are being projected onto you all day long, right? So you're not necessarily, I can't find my concealer, so I keep looking for shit. You're not necessarily dealing not only with how you feel about stuff, but how other people feel about stuff. And that's not abnormal for everyone, but for trans people, you know, it's kind of a little extreme because you're really trying to make sure that you're crossing your you know, your T's and dotting your I's, and you're not stepping out of line, and you know what I mean? Like, you feel a little bit more on edge because your gender can be taken away from you in any moment, right? You know, the moment you start speaking a certain way, the moment you start walking a certain way, suddenly you're no longer, you know, a woman or a man, you know, suddenly now you're something else. And for me, I became very kind of invested in making sure that, you know, I had the most respectable image as a trans person. Right? And in so many ways, and as this channel grows, some of this stuff will become a little bit more obvious, or we'll have more conversations about this. In so many ways, I was really trying to be someone that I wasn't. You know what I mean? I was trying to be more proper than I actually was, more vanilla than I actually was. All because I was very invested in, like, someone else's vision of who I am. And you know what? It's funny because through several phases of this sort of thing, I don't think I was really that aware of it. Like, if you told me that I was trying to project an image, I would have told you that you're being an asshole. Right? I'd be like, no, bitch. Don't come for me, etc., etc. How dare you come for the queen, etc., etc. But now I kind of see it a little bit better. You know what I mean? And, you know, for me, like I said, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I don't have the ability that a lot of people have, where you can kind of, like, imagine what your teenage years were like, where you can kind of imagine what happened the past past 10 years. I have video proof, you know, and so I can't just kind of have like a false memory. I actually have access to it, you know, and so that's very obviously going to make, you know, things a little interesting for me, right? So really, kind of what I want to do on this particular channel is I really want to go back to having open conversations about what's going on in my life. Not because I think that I'm terribly interesting, not because I just feel like I just deserve to, you know, but because I feel like there's so much that I learn about life and I want to share it, you know. I have so many feelings. I have so many things that don't go the way I thought they were going to go. I have so many thoughts and feelings that I had Monday that changed by Friday. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I miss being able to have the type of platform where I was sharing that with people, where we were having conversations about life, our own experiences, and how we succeeded or failed. You know what I mean? Because I think we're all growing and learning in life. And there's one, you know what? I've had a lot of conversations in the past couple of months about what I want my channels to be. Because, you know, my Cat Black channel is my main channel. It is definitely a channel that I love. It's definitely a channel that, you know, I mean, I've worked really hard to build it up, you know. But there's definitely a face I present on my channel. And it's not like, and this is one thing I've had to kind of realize, it's not like the person I present on my main channel isn't me. It's just a very curated version of me. And that's something that especially if you've been with me for a long time, you've seen me kind of cultivate it. You've seen me slowly but surely chip away certain aspects of my personality, become more and more respectable and presentable, and say the things that people wanted me to say. Like, you've sort of seen me start to kind of become a different person, or at least present a different person. And that's still me. That is 100% still me. But this is also me. You know what I mean? And so that's why this YouTube channel is called Catherine. And then there's Cat Black. We are all part of the same person. Jeez, listen to me talk about myself like I'm more than one person. But we have different sides. And the big thing I learned that has always been a common theme in my blogging is that I love, love, love to learn and share and grow. I love to learn and share and grow. And that's what I really have been doing on my Cat Black channel is I've been learning things, I've been sharing them so that my audience can grow from them, right? And even through the conversations that we have, you're learning, you're sharing, and I'm growing. And that's really what I want my online presence to be about. I don't want it to be what some people have perceived it to be, and maybe I've made it seem this way, and I'm not going to debate about it. Probably you're right. Like, I'm just going to come with all the answers, because, bitch, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know everything. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything, you know? And so that is really learning, sharing, and growing. That is what I want my channels, my online presence to be all about. I have my opinions. There are the things that I just know and know them to be true. But I'm always learning, sharing, and growing. So anyway, I just wanted to, before I continue to rant, I just wanted to tell you guys how much I absolutely love this palette. It is the color, this is why I couldn't be a beauty guru. It is the Colourpop, I Think I Love You palette. You guys know that I travel a lot. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. And what I've been trying to do is sort of get like a nice set of like things that I can take with me that I know work well, but I'm not packing too much. Do you know what I mean? So I've been working on like getting, you know, the shower gels, the hair products, everything you know, the eyeshadow palettes that I know I need, I know I like, I know I'm going to use, and then consolidate that. And I'll probably do a video at some point, but so far this is my packet. I've got also in there the Juvia's Place Masquerade palette. It's so dirty because it's been through so much. Because that has like all of like the colors, but I love this palette. It is such a, like, I've been doing my easy quick makeup with this, and you'll see I've been applying it with my hands, with my fingers, because that's just how Colourpop shadows work, honestly, is they apply beautifully with fingers. Look how beautiful this palette is though. Look how beautiful that is. Like, it is such a, it's clearly cardboard, but it's very sturdy, and I just like these colors. They're all necessary. I love them for putting in a black, like, I love a good matte black, girl. You guys know how I feel about matte black as a texture. I love matte black. And I'm just like, all these colors, like, thank you. I mean, they could have added like a nice brick red, because that's what I love to put in my crease, but girl, that's just me getting picky, and there's a perfect one in the Masquerade palette. But anyway, you'll see I'm applying with my fingers, which is part of why I packed this to go, because I can do a makeup look really quickly, and I'll just be doing that as I talk. But anyway, so one of the reasons that I've kind of changed a lot in my thought process about a lot of stuff is I've been traveling a lot, y'all. I have been traveling so much. And when you travel, girl, you especially if you're like me, and not that I'm sheltered, but you know, I've only really known, like, listen, I grew up in the fucking suburbs, okay, girl? Like, let's just cut it. So I grew up in the fucking suburbs. Like, I've been through some things, and I've had some experiences, but girl, I grew up in the suburbs, okay? And so there's a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to classism, that like I just don't really understand because I've never seen it, you know? There's a lot of stuff that, you know, I don't know because I had been living, I guess, in my little suburban bubble. And when I travel, I've been sort of being in a lot of these situations where I meet completely different types of people. And it's really sort of changed my worldview quite a bit. If you come to my talk shoot, you'll hear me probably reference that, you know, for one of my talks in Virginia, which I'm about to fly to Virginia soon. I had an experience where I was trapped in a car with a Trump supporter for 2 hours. 2 hours because he was giving me a ride to the airport. And when you're in a place like Virginia, at least from the part I was in, it really is an alternative reality, y'all. Like, I'm from California, and so, you know, we see what we see. But when you're in the South, girl, like when you're in not California, really, like, things change. Things really change. Like, one of the things that really stuck out to me was there are all of these signs on the front of farmers' lawns that say Trump, you know. All of these signs, you know, because all these farmers were, you know, rooting for Trump. You drive down the street, there's these gigantic billboards of Trump. You watch TV, and all of the TV shows, not all the TV shows, a lot of the commercials are all pro-Trump, you know, and it feels very much like he's still running, like it's their like campaign, you know, commercials. It's just a very bizarre situation because we don't see that shit in California. We don't see that at all. And so it's kind of being a place where there's just, you know, all this Trump stuff, just absolutely, it's a very bizarre, you know, situation to sort of observe, right? And so, you know, that's like to give you the baseline, right, of it. But then I was sitting and having this conversation with this person, and, you know, around that time, you know, you you end up being in these situations where if you're in your little bubble, right, you're just so used to hearing a certain perspective on, like, why people voted for Trump, right? And I hope this doesn't get too dramatic in my comment section. I really hope it doesn't. It probably will, knowing my followers, but you're kind of used to hearing a certain narrative, like, oh, people voted for Trump for this reason, people voted for Trump for that reason. And not that that's not true, because, like, at the end of the day, like, a lot of people did vote for Trump because they are racist, right? But a lot of people voted for Trump for shit that I just never considered. Because, of course, like I said, you know, you're in a situation where you are not seeing what they're seeing. You're not living through what they're living through. So you're not kind of understanding that, you know, Trump was one of the few people who came to them and was like, hey, we're going to help bring back the farms. We're going to help make sure that the coal mines come back. Like, all these things that a lot of us know are not true. But for them, it was hope. You know, for them, it was hope that they weren't getting from the Democrats, right? And so, while still I feel like they made the wrong decision, and I feel like a lot of them are really feeling that now, they had their fucked up reasonings, right? And so I had a conversation with this guy, and he, you know, is a guy who owns a farm. He has family, you know, that doesn't want to work on the farm for this reason and that reason, and, like, you know, it's you just listen to them and you realize, you know what, it doesn't make sense, but they have their reasons, you know. And not that I agreed with him or felt that his reasoning was correct, but it was nice to sort of talk to someone, especially during the times, I believe this was in November of last year, and sort of see what they see and hear what they had to say. You know what I mean? Instead of going off of the narrative that we had been building about what Trump supporters said and did, right? And I'm not saying that people should do that. I'm just saying that's a good example of me kind of being exposed to what I thought things were versus what they actually are, right? And so, and to be honest, you guys, I've gone on so many weird adventures on my trips that I have never talked about and probably will never. But one thing I will be doing on this channel is blogging about my trips, because my big thing is I recognize that I have been sort of sheltered, right? I recognize that I only really know one particular type of experience. And so I'm always sort of forcing myself to do weird things, different things. I'm a very risky person. That's probably going to come and bite me in the ass one of these days, but I put myself in a lot of weird scenarios. Like when I was in upstate New York, girl, I went to a house party with these strangers. And that was when I was going through a lot of shit too. But the night was really intense. I didn't almost get arrested, but I was hanging out with these two guys from Tennessee. And they got pulled over as we were driving away. And we almost got arrested. And I have all this footage too. But I just haven't put it up because it was a touchy time in my life. And I was going through a lot of shit and But I've been on a lot of adventures like that, and I imagine that I will continue to have that. And so that's what my channel's gonna be. So let me take a moment and do my eyeliner and come back, or we'll just speed up and we'll return, because eyeliner is serious business and I can't mess it up. I probably will still, but I'd like to not. So here we go. Let me do my eyeliner. But yeah, so traveling has really sort of changed a lot of the ways that I've looked at a lot of stuff, And with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna be very real with you guys. I can feel, with no real sense of understanding where they're going, my politics changing quite a bit. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of stuff that I have started to feel is a lot less important to me than I used to feel it was. And I don't know what that means, where that's going, if that's anything, but that's a feeling I've been having lately. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say right here. But, here's the thing. Like I said earlier in this video, I've realized that one of the things I want to do is learn, share, and grow, right? You can kind of piece together from the last couple of videos I've done on my main channel that one of the big things I've kind of been realizing is that I'm really not invested in a lot of this YouTube inner community drama. I'm just really not, y'all. I would love to be able to sit here and give a fuck about so-and-so making a video about such and such. Bitch, I really don't care. And I'm not going to say that I haven't cared or that it hasn't been a thing that I've talked about or focused on or whatever, because it definitely has. But I've just realized how sort of silly that is. I've just kind of recognized how sort of pointless and worthless that is to focus on. And so I don't know, I don't want to get caught in that sort of endless cycle of so-and-so made a video about such and such. And I want to make it clear again, I feel like I've said this so many times, I'm really not bothered by people who make response videos. I'm really not. You guys really don't understand the amount of shit I've actually really dealt with for me to really feel like someone making a video about me is harassment. That's really not how I feel, right? Of course, there is the annoyance that I have with people who make videos about me that don't represent things I actually say and do. That's definitely a problem that I have, because then that becomes the truth. For example, there's a video that someone made not too long ago about dating preferences. I made a video about dating preferences. And in the video, they proceed to basically use a lot of the like stuff that I used to think as like a representation of the things that I today think, because I started the video, you know, presenting, here's what I used to think and here's what I think now, right? And I'm not going to debate about that conversation because really that whole topic is really tired to me. But, you know, it was just kind of really fucking annoying to listen to somebody essentially agree with me and then act like we aren't agreeing, you know? And I know myself, and I know that I can get caught in those conversations for fucking years. I can get caught in those silly, worthless, pointless conversations for fucking years. And I'm just really not, here's one of the big things I've recognized, is I spend a lot of time repeating myself. And I don't need to. And I know now that a lot of my followers even are really fucking tired of me repeating myself. You know? And I spend so much time doing it. You know? And that's not a good use of my time. That's not a good use of my talent and what I can do on you. It's just not a good use of my time, you know? And so I'm really having to kind of take my own advice that I've given to other people and like, you know, you say it and then you walk away. I mean, the reason I started doing these fucking videos is because I got so tired of repeating myself. And I've done it now in a couple of different videos. Now, I will say that there's a lot of videos I make because I'm just trying to explore a certain format. And so at least for me, it's a little bit less about the video itself. It's more about the video that you know, the style in which the video is done. That's one thing I think people should also recognize. I'm trying to find my style when it comes to videos because I feel like sometimes I want to make certain types of videos, other times I want to make different types of videos, right? And one of the big things that I realize I love doing is education. I love the idea of making education and information very accessible, right? And so I am very much into the idea and concept of, you know, educational videos. I'm just trying to figure out the best way for me to do that. I'm also in love with IMO and like my opinion videos, right? But that all being said, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to spend my time, essentially. Because especially as traveling becomes more of a thing, especially as, you know, I'm starting to do more stuff than just YouTube videos, I'm having a little bit less time. Like, I want to be able to maximize the little time I have, right? And so I have a couple different ideas of stuff I want to do. Like, one thing I've kind of thought a lot about is I want to interview people. You know, I love interviewing people because it gives me a chance to sit back and listen as opposed to, you know, speak. And I've always really loved the idea of doing that because, you know, I feel like, especially with the type of people I want to interview, which, you know, a lot of people want me to do sort of this reach across the table type bullshit. And I'm not necessarily interested in that, but I am interested in, like, let's listen to people of different perspectives, you know? Because different perspectives, I think, is beautiful because we all live in this world. We all live in the same fucking world, but people see it differently, you know what I mean? And I always think that's fascinating. I think people are fucking fascinating. That's one thing, too, about my travels, too, is, like, I mean, when you're traveling, you can essentially be whoever the fuck you want, right? And so when I'm traveling, I kind of am a chameleon in a way where there's been a lot of times where I've sat with people and they don't know who I am, they have no clue what I do, and they say things that I obviously disagree with them, but I listen to them. I listen to what they're saying, and those conversations are always kind of interesting, you know? Because I may not get it, but that's their perspective. And I've always sort of seen the concept of, like, you know, we're all looking at the same things but seeing it differently to be very beautiful. Because ultimately, I love people. I love people. I love characters. you know? And so I'm kind of just like really excited at the idea of like, let's talk to people, you know? Especially when it comes to like queer people and things like that, because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I feel like the acronym is great, but that just because we're all under the same acronym doesn't mean we understand each other. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's kind of been, you know, an interest of mine of late, of like doing more interviews, also doing more investigative reporting type stuff, you know? And so what you guys are gonna probably see on my main channel a lot is experiments, you know, me sort of just trying something out, you know, me kind of putting myself in a new position, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm all about learning, sharing, and growing. And my channel is going to grow differently, you know? And you know, with all this demonetization shit, one of the big things that I'm kind of starting to kind of recognize is that, because here's the thing when it comes to, on the subject of demonetization, like I said earlier in this video, I have been on YouTube since before we were able to demonetize. I probably will, before we were able to monetize, I probably will always see this conversation differently because of that, because I remember what it was like to not expect payment for your videos. And I'm not saying that we should accept that at all. Like, oh boy, am I not fucking saying that. But I am going to say that I do think, you know, because here's the thing. There is a small part of me that's kind of happy that certain people are making less content because of demonetization, you know? And what I mean by that is there's this very specific type of person on YouTube who really only makes money because there's money, makes videos because there's money in it, you know? And as, again, someone who's been on here for so long, I really do believe and feel that those particular people, those particular types of people have made this website trashier than it probably needs to be. What I mean when I say that is that, you know, this website used to have a lot of really great content. You know, you could click on almost, and I'm talking about things I agree with. I'm talking about good content, you know. And when you watch the video, you kind of basically knew that it was going to be at least a good quality video, right? Now there's a lot of people who just put up shit. People who put up stuff that's almost automated. That's where we're at. And, you know, it's just kind of created a very different vibe on YouTube, and I don't really like it, you know? And so there's a part of me that, like, thinks it's great that certain people are being, you know, fished out of the system. But at the same time, bitch, I'm one of those people. So it's like, you know, it's not that great. And I do think that YouTube is on some bullshit, you know? And to make it clear, you know, the demonetization shit, it's really not, it knows no political leanings, it knows no gender or whatever. It's really just about making money. At the end of the day, it's about making money. That's it, you know? So a lot of people who, you know, were making a lot of the money because their content already sort of fit into that sort of stuff, you know, they're continuing to make money. Those of us who were kind of, you know, never really making money are not making money. You know what I mean? I'd have to have a very different type of channel in order to make money. And I guess for me, it kind of does get to this point. And this is, again, I want to say this is a very privileged perspective because obviously there are many layers of privilege in which I benefit from. But one of the ones that I currently benefit from is I don't really have to worry about where I used to be, where my YouTube money was my bread and butter, you know? And so, you know, but I wouldn't be at that point without YouTube, you see? So it's kind of a cyclical thing, you know? So, but it's encouraged me to have this channel where, bitch, listen, I'm going to put some effort into my videos, but don't expect the degree of effort on this channel because I'm not getting paid. But I'm, you know, I like that. I want to return to my roots. Let me do my lips and come back. Ooh. I want to return to my roots of, like, you know, just talking to my camera. You know, I'm gonna be real and say that a lot of my videos on this channel, at some point, depending on how it go, they're gonna be a little OD because because I am going to be starting a journal again. I'm gonna be doing a physical journal and then reading my journal entries to you guys. And hopefully that will just kind of be a really cool thing on this channel because I miss doing that shit. I miss doing that shit. And I have so many resources now that I didn't back when I was, you know, in the heyday of my blogging. And I want to, like, take advantage of them, you know? I don't want to just talk about this shit. I want to show it to you guys. I've been obsessed with this gloss. Love this gloss. This is the Fenty Beauty. What is it? Glow. I think it's just Fenty Glow. Where is it? There's no name on it anymore. Oh, Fenty Glow. So, it's so great. I don't know why. I totally am just into, like, lip gloss and lip liner right now. It's just, it's the look, it's the aesthetic, it's what all the girls are doing. So now I'm done with my makeup, I'm just gonna go change and come back and kind of conclude this video since we've been here for a really long time. All right, I'll be right back. Yes! Oh my god, the sun is coming. Okay, wow, I'll show you guys my outfit later. Oh my god. So the sun just decided to, like, start hitting me. Like, this is so annoying. Let me go change the lighting real quick. Alright, let's see what this... Anyway, basically what I'm saying is this channel is going to just be me doing whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm going to be talking about myself, I'm going to be talking about my life, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some stories, I'm going to be telling you guys what's on my mind, what I'm going through, and that's just going to be how it's going to be. And I'm really excited because, like I said, I've had some pretty major life changes recently, and they've just led me to really desire the type of community that I used to have where we talked to each other, we shared our experiences, and it was more about me just coming to you as I am, as opposed to putting on a work face, right? And so I'm really looking forward to having this type of channel again. I'm really looking forward to having the conversations that we used to kind of have and just growing with each other. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. I've been doing a lot of thinking specifically about sex positivity stuff. So we'll see about that. So stay tuned. Anyway, I'm gonna go and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.